Mgbe onye ji nụ, ọ gbaa n'aka. Mgbe onye ji nụ, ọ gbaa n'aka.
Hello, my name is ULOMA and I'm back with my third podcast. And today we're going to be talking about something that is really a problem for me. It's what most people refer to as algorithms. But for me, we're actually discussing Juju. Okay, so what does the dictionary say about algorithms? It says that it is step-by-step set of instructions or rules designed to perform a task, solve a problem, or calculate a result. Nice scientific definition. I'll take it again. It says that algorithms are those step-by-step sets of instructions or rules designed to perform a task, solve a problem, or calculate a result. Now, I am not a techie. I have, absolute faith in the fact that science has moved into quarters that are a bit worrisome. I have personally experienced, same as you, I'm sure, where you find that you're almost being eavesdropped upon or something by your phone, or by your laptop, or by whatever machine you're using. More importantly, in the social media. So a typical example, you're sitting and you're maybe having a conversation with somebody about something, and it could be, okay, let's use a good example. So I'm not into cars. I don't even care really about cars. But let's say we're in a conversation, maybe my husband and I, or the boys and I, my children that is, and we start talking about somebody's car, and we're like, oh my goodness, this beautiful red Corvette. I mean, it was so nice. It was shining. It was this, it was that, and the way he packed it when he came to the party, As soon as that conversation is over, or at least a few minutes after, not more than a few minutes after, you begin to see it in your feed. Car companies are sending pictures of red Corvettes to you. Has that happened to you before? I'm sure it has. Or it could be anything else. It could be food. You just start talking about a particular type of food. It could be, anything. It could be jollof rice or something like that. And before you know it, you begin to see, jollof rice ads, or, things about restaurants around you that serve jollof rice. It just starts happening. And then you begin to ask yourself, who is listening? Who is listening? I use an iPhone. I don't know what you use. I use an iPhone, so hello Siri, and I just wonder at a product, I'm talking about Siri now, that doesn't quite sleep, The minute you call her, I refer to them in whatever gender their voices come at me with, and so for my Siri is female, so yeah. So whenever you call her, she answers. Whenever you call her name, I should be specific with that. Whenever you call her name, she answers. What that tells me is that she's been listening all along, and all she's been waiting for is her name, because that's really her command to therefore, join the conversation, or, formally respond to me. And that's spooky, isn't it? I also have Alexa. Let me define trouble, Abby. Yeah. Alexa is the Amazon thingy that, you get to do things, you ask questions, and, I don't know, is it a mini robot or something? I don't know what it is, but basically I have one too. And the reason why I have Alexa is because I just liked the way my sons use it. Just being able to use it to like put off the lights, turn on the lights, ask you, tell you the time, tell you what the weather is. It's just kind of convenient. I'm a sucker for convenience, and so I had Alexa, and somebody else gave me a gift also of an Alexa. So this is me feeling very generous. I go to visit my sister in Houston. And I told her, oh, I got you guys something. It's gonna help you guys around here and all that. And I bring out Alexa, and 3 of them, that's my sister and her 2 daughters, looked at me and were like, Auntie, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's really very convenient. Ketchy, the elder of the 2 daughters, just begged me to pack the thing back. They didn't want it to be around, And I'm like, hey guys, come on, it's gonna make life better for you. You can just ask. My sister said, ULOMA, Pico, just pack it and just pack it up. And then later when we were talking, they just explained. They said, that it's bad enough that we're dealing with such invasive technology in what we're doing in our lives today, that inviting extra things like Alexa is much. In fact, I think my sister has Siri disabled on her phone. She has an iPhone too, but she has Siri disabled, even though if you ask me, I suspect that Siri is still alive somewhere. One day when you call her name, she'll probably answer. But anyway, so they begged me to just carry my Alexa back. So I carried my Alexa back to Canada with me, and I started thinking if there was merit in the conversation that I had with them, because people say about technology that it's the deeper you get into it, it's the more you use these new and emerging technologies and stuff, the more of you therefore is out there, and I've argued it, I've wondered about it. But I'm beginning to see that there may just be some merit in such fears. So what am I saying? I think that the use of algorithms, let's use Instagram for instance. I put in a post, for instance, about and this is okay. I'll use the most recent one, because I just got involved in a clothing business, a clothing line. So I got myself a POS to use. But before then, I'd done a lot of inquiring, going to different websites and checking out different things and all that. And about 2 days after I finally signed up for one of them, I started getting this deluge of messages from different POS manufacturers. The truth is that I wish they had reached out to me before I chose one, but the fact is that every single POS manufacturer, supplier, whatever in Canada started sending their ads to me. I'll just like be reading something different, and Clover will show up, or one thing, all sorts of names, and I'm like, come on. And for a shopper or for a user or for a customer, it gets particularly irritating when you don't need whatever it is that is being pushed at you. So this is me. I've already done my purchase, and then I'm now getting this deluge of ads telling me to use their product. First of all, leave me alone. I didn't call you. I didn't ask you to tell me anything. I didn't ask for your permission to get into my feed or my space, And then on top of it, I don't need you. I've already bought one. I mean, you guys are all knowing, so you should know that I've already gotten one, So it's irritating. It's irritating for the customer. And then it's also scary because it just shows that every little information that you put out there is being used in one way or the other. Everything that is out there, everything that you have shown interest in, everything that you have been seen to be a part of, it just comes back to bite you, doesn't it? And so I worry. I know the number of times I've explained to my mom, or at least tried to explain to my mom. No, my mom is fantastic. She's like a techie, she's a whiz of her generation as far as I'm concerned. However, some of these things get a bit much, So like when I try to explain to her that, Mommy, everybody is not buying beef like you. And she's like, what do I mean? I said, she said, whenever I open Instagram or Facebook, I see a lot of, people, there's meat everywhere, In fact, I'll buy beef from this person. I said, Mommy, you're the only one seeing it. I don't see beef. And she's like, what do you mean you don't see it? I said, I don't see it. I don't see it. There's no beef ad that comes at me. And she's like, why will I be seeing it and you won't be seeing it? And then I stopped and I was like, how do I even begin to explain this to Mom? How do I begin to explain to her that everything that was natural to her before is no longer natural? What do I mean? I mean, in those days, you put on the television set and the ads will show. And you know that ad that you're seeing is the same ad that your friend is seeing in her house. You know that the Omo commercial, that played 3 times during the network news was seen by the entire country 3 times during the network news. And so any news item too that is shared during the network news is the same news that we get in every one of the states, that we had at the time. I can't remember how many states we had growing up. It was 12, then it was 19, and and all that. But that's another story. So that's Nigeria, right? So that's what we used to have, and that's what my mom knows. My mom knows that whenever she sees news, that she can be sure that her friend has seen the same news also, and so on. And that's traditional knowledge, isn't it? But it's not. It's not like that anymore. Traditional knowledge is not traditional knowledge anymore, in the sense that Mom is seeing beef, but I'm seeing fish. And then my sister is seeing neither fish nor beef. She's seeing something totally different. She's seeing fabrics. And then my other sister is seeing things for cake. And then my brother is seeing, all the things that have to do with technology. Everybody is seeing something different. That's really the purpose of this podcast, guys. We're living in a very dangerous time, communication-wise. It's a very dangerous time because information has gone from no information to some information to a lot of information to information overload. And then now we're in information for you. Information specific to you. Our world just got smaller. We have just been further, is the word ostracized? The word I mean is that whatever word it is, that means that we are all living in silos that we did not plan. Just by the interests that I have become a statistic to which a certain algorithm has been moved into, or that I have been moved into the algorithm. I don't know which one moves into what, but you know what I mean. So I don't know who shall we use as a good example. There's this lady, there's this podcaster that my sister was telling me about recently. Somebody, Candace Owens? Yes, Candace Owens. I have no idea who she is. I don't know who she is. I'd never heard about her. But my sister knows everything about her. In other words, everything that Candace does gets sent to her, whether she wants to know or not, because she ever asked, because she ever searched, because she ever had interest. And that's just all that it takes. So she knows Candace. I mean, when Charlie Kirk was killed, I saw my son go, oh my God, Charlie Kirk was shot. And I was like, and who is he? I didn't know who he was, because my algorithms don't take me to Charlie Kirk or to Candace Owens or to whoever else. If I haven't chosen, God. Okay. So I went off Twitter for a long time because I think Twitter is you know, I think it's representative of the chaos that the world is right now, in the sense that everybody has a voice and nobody's stopping anybody from saying anything. There's no regulatory anything, and so everybody can say anything about anything. So I got really irritated by that. So I left Twitter for a long time, and then when I decided to come back, to X because it was no longer Twitter, I got asked all those questions. What are you interested in? Do you like fashion? Okay, under fashion, what type of fashion? Do you like food? Under food, what type of food? What are the types of things that you want to be seeing? So they really do ask you those questions. And from a marketing person's point of view, it sounds so perfect, because this is like targeting at its best, target marketing at its best. But there's something wrong with that. Because yes, I'm interested in those things, but I want to know what's happening around me. Do you understand? And I don't want it to be just because of, I don't want to be seeing the world only from the view of the things that I'm interested in, because I don't think that's the entire world. Do you get? And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else worries like I do about these things, but I don't think that I need to ask myself, or rather remind myself when I'm watching news, for instance, that watch CNN if you want to get the Democratic point of view, and then go to Fox to balance it with the Republican point of view. Why should I have to do that with news? News, for God's sake. I don't know. I don't think that this is how life ought to be. Let me use another example. I started. I went into a particularly trying time in my life, where I had somebody who was not presenting in a way that I wanted, and so I started researching behavior and all that. And for the purpose of this discussion, and just so that I'm not giving too much detail, let's just say that the person was a kleptomaniac. Yeah, kleptomaniac is a good one. So I found out that this person is a kleptomaniac, and so I start researching this whole kleptomania thing, and I find out more and more and more, and then I find that I have put myself deep into a rabbit hole. It now makes it look like kleptomania is what the world is about. Every feed I have, whether it is Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or TikTok, whatever it is, begins to take me deeper and deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. And what the problem with that also is that it takes you into the rabbit hole without even offering you the opportunity to choose. I don't know how to say this. So it just comes from the point of view of, okay, her views on kleptomania is that kleptomaniacs should be killed or something. Sorry, that's not what I meant. Or kleptomaniacs should be taken care of, or it's a bad thing. Okay, that kleptomania is a bad thing. And so that's what I have said. And so that is the view that I will be seeing. Do you get where I'm coming from? So basically, if somebody else is saying, no, there is a reason why this happens, and this is how it is cured, and the church can help with this, I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing my point of view, which is, I hate these people. And so it makes me feel like the whole world is with me on hating these people. And it is not the truth. The truth matters. The truth still matters. And the problem with this statement I'm making right now is that lies are not clear anymore. I mean, like, a lie is usually an untruth, A lie is usually when you say something that is not true, and so it's a lie. But today, a lie can be that you're living in a universe that is not necessarily true. A lie can be that your belief system is really as has been presented to you, as you have been boxed into. I started off saying that the world has actually gotten smaller for every one of us, but I guess in addition to that, it's a lie. I mean, our lives and our worlds are no longer true. We're living in worlds that are no longer true. They're not true because they're not a truthful representation of all that is the world. We have a myopic view. I hope that means short-sighted. A myopic view of the world. This is what used to be called the world according to GARP. And that's the type of life we are in now. It's the world according to ULOMA, the world according to Chinyere, the world according to Bumi, the world according to John, the world according to Emeka, the world according to Lawal. Everybody has their own world. And why then will they not be saying things like, it is my truth? Because it is the truth. The truth is that it is their truth. It is our truth. Because we're being presented with different worlds that are our truth. I don't know if I'm reaching you with this thing that I'm saying, and I'm laughing, but I don't really think it's funny. I think this is really very dangerous. It's an existential threat, if you ask me, in the sense that we are no longer. I mean, for as large and global and interconnected as the world is getting, it is also getting terribly, demarcated, and we're all in these different worlds of our own as a result of the things that we have shown interest in, the things that we have believed, the things that we have said, the things that we have been defined by these algorithms by. So I had to explain to Mom that in their bid to market her better, that they just assume that she's really interested in beef. So they just keep telling her the new things that are happening with beef, which is really, on the face of it, what it looks like. I think she understood. I don't know if I understand. I say that because I just sense a larger objective. I'm not a techie, but I'm a great observer, and there is just something that doesn't sit right with me about all this. This cannot be good, and it can only get worse, and it's fueling so much already. It even begins to explain why people are no longer able to have conversations and proper, nice arguments and things like that, because everybody is so fixed on their own point of view. And the reason that is happening is because that's the only point of view they're being exposed to. There's lack of patience. People are not patient with one another anymore because their world is so complete and total and very different from yours, and you can't meet. Oh, come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. It is time. Well, I don't know. I think that we're going to see a lot of things like this going forward. When I say things like this, I mean these divergent views, these inability to come together to agree on anything. This absolute division that comes from very, very firm ideologies that are rooted in facts but are only, yours. They're only presented to one person at a time. The world has to fight this. We have to insist on the ability to actually have that other thing that we can slap our views against and therefore have the truth. There has to be a custodian, a real-time custodian of current affairs, of current issues that is vast and complete, and that we can now throw our thoughts against that and get the proper picture all the time. I don't know. In terms of, raw, real truth, the Bible does that for me. I mean, the Bible is solid, it's sturdy, it's complete. That used to be news also for, the more contemporary type information gathering and so on. But now, now it's, you first of all ask the question, who owns the network? What party does the person belong to? Is the person, in Nigeria, we'll say, is the person ABC, or is the person NDC, or is the person, who is this person that owns the network? Or, is the person Republican or Democratic? Is the person, conservative? Is the person, and that means that that's the color of news that you're getting, We need independent sources of information. All types of information. That is our go-to. Maybe that's what grok is. I don't even know what it is. I'm just coming into X, so I see that grok thing. I don't even know what it is, but maybe that's what it is. I don't know if it exists in other places, but yeah. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about today, because it's really something that I know is, spiraling, and I know it's going to be an issue. And when it happens, we'll be like, yeah, she said it, she called it. Thank you guys. This is sincerely ULOMA.